So it's been a week since I've come out, and I want to talk about some of the feelings that I've felt in the past 7 days. Now, for those people who've come out already, you're probably gonna have some not so very fond memories of the things you felt when you came out. But for those people who haven't yet come out and really want an accurate, honest opinion of what it could be like if they come out, here it is. I'm going to start with the feeling of anger. I've lived 31 years on this planet. 25 of them I lived in a house where I had no emotional, genuine connection with anyone. My parents were emotionally detached. That doesn't mean they didn't hug me, play with me, and read me books. I'm saying when it came to how I felt, my feelings, my emotions, my interests, my parents were dead on arrival. If they ever showed up, which they never did, at least emotionally. So I've felt anger for half my life, having to hide the best parts of myself because my parents are incapable of accepting me for who I am. And for people who've come out from the LGBTQIA community, I can't say anything about it because I didn't come out gay. I never told my parents I'm anything but straight. I'm cis and straight. I did come out as an atheist, so I do know what it feels like to not be accepted for who you are. I can't speak about what it would be like for sexual orientation or gender, but I can speak about religion. I think the only group that is as marginalized and hated as being a trans member of the community is being an atheist. And I felt anger for years without even realizing what that emotion was. Emotion was so repressed in my family. We couldn't even get angry without getting in trouble. We couldn't express any emotion that was uncomfortable in my family. We couldn't have growing pains. We couldn't make mistakes. We couldn't rebel. We couldn't even choose the lives we want if we wanted the support of our parents. So yeah, I am angry. I'm angry that my parents ghosted me. I'm angry that I even had to come out because of the toxic expectations that my parents have, including the religion that they're in. I'm angry that my parents chose their religion, their God, their beliefs over me. And I make videos for people who've gone through it and need commiseration. I make videos for people who are trying to desperately find out what coming out really looks like. And this is just one way it could look. I mean, your parents could accept you and you be happy about it. But I'd say most likely they won't. And that really comes down to where in the U.S. you live, the religious beliefs of your family, and how traditional and Republican they are. And there's always exceptions, but that's really what it comes down to. And I am angry because I shouldn't have to go through this. I'm angry that my mother put her discomfort as more important than making sure I'm okay. I'm angry that my parents ghosted me. I'm angry that half of the emotional disorders I've been diagnosed with in therapy are because of growing up in a toxic, patriarchal, just emotionally miserable home. My family doesn't do well with emotion unless they're having a narcissistic meltdown. And getting angry at my parents in the front of them doesn't do anything. They play the victim. And honestly, I don't think they would even care that they upset me. I was never allowed to feel anger as a child. I was never allowed to feel it or put it into action. I was never allowed to love and care about things that I care about. So, yeah, I am angry at my parents. I'm angry at religion. I'm angry at anything that influenced my family to be who they are. And anger can be a valid emotion. And if you grow up in a family where inconvenient emotions just aren't, it doesn't compute with these people. You're growing up in an environment where you stuff your feelings and your emotions because nobody has the emotional maturity to deal with them. They don't know what to do with it. It's like they're so emotionally stunted they can't tell if they've hurt you. And even if they could, which they can't, but if they could, they wouldn't apologize. They're incapable of having a heart-to-heart talk. Some days I wake up and wonder if they even have a heart. Luckily, my therapists tell me how it is. And it's not my fault for how they treat me. It says what they are. And a lack of activity from someone can be just as powerful as somebody behaving in a certain way. And I am angry. And sometimes you have to get angry to change how you react to abuse. And it's not about getting them to change. It's about realizing I just don't have to be here anymore. I don't have to be in a space that doesn't make me feel better. So anger is a valid emotion. If you can't feel it or demonstrate anger, this is not healthy. And at some point, I will express anger to my parents. I'm going to call them out for being the shits that they are. And hopefully at some point, the anger will dissipate, not because they apologize or because the issue is fixed. It's going to be because I found something better to dwell on. And sometimes you just have to deal with your anger, or else you can't grieve and move on. And sometimes you have to be angry to get to the next stage, which is acceptance. And it may be uncomfortable, it may be terrifying, but I would rather feel anger than feel nothing. So